the Russia-Ukraine war has certainly changed a lot of things. Japan has a consistent insecurity about regional security. Besides, with superimposed on the resentment of national power being overtaken by China, Japan has started to act as a spokesman for the US to constrain China and tried to pull in ASEAN and India to counter China. So, can Japan succeed in all these approaches? Can Fumio Kishida's ambitions and aspirations come true? Japan and the United States recently announced the launch of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework and issued a joint statement against China at the same time. In an instant, Japan was in the headlines of the world. Why did Fumio Kishida do this? Where will Japan head to? This video tries to explain to readers a confusing phenomenon, that Japan wants to antagonize its biggest trading partner and act as a pawn of the US in Asia to gain support from ASEAN and India so as to build a front against China. Some of these actions are rather confusing for those who are about international current affairs. So, why is Japan doing these? What is the benefit of doing so? Can Japan achieve this purpose? The 3-minute video unveils the fog and truth behind it. After Fumio Kishida was elected as the Prime Minister of Japan, he immediately launched a quick response to the epidemic and won the support of the public. After the war between Russia and Ukraine started, the international political and economic situation deteriorated sharply in Japan and sanctions against Russia. Then, Japan was counter-sanctioned by Russia. At the same time, Fumio Kishida introduced the financial income tax in order to get out of financial trouble and liberalize the pandemic control, resulting in Nikkei index plummeted. It was called the Kishida shock. Under such background, Japan is still trying to form a coalition and make enemies. So, for Japan it is true that the strategic consideration is way more than the economic consideration. What are Japan's countermeasures? Japan has been holding 2+2 meetings with foreign ministers and defense ministers of several Southeast Asian countries since April this year. Whether with the Philippines, Indonesia, or Australia, the main point of these meetings is to constrain and confront China. These bilateral 2+2 meetings, combined with the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, have multiplied the measures and means of confrontation in Japan's hands for striking China. So, will Japan's ambition be realized? ASEAN seems to have a much less strong sense of crisis than Japan with regard to China. On the contrary, because of China's the Belt and Road Initiative in recent years to usher in a comprehensive and rapid development. Compared to Europe and other countries and regions are not moving forward, ASEAN and China and other Asian countries are undoubtedly the engine of global economic development. Therefore, although several ASEAN countries are involved in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, launched by Japan and the US, most of them feel that riskless in participating in is agreement that has only responsibilities and obligations and lacks practical benefits, and is not approved by the National Assembly. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, the core country of ASEAN, expressed his hope that the framework would remain open, inclusive and flexible, and that it would lead to closer economic ties between the United States and the region in time. This has created a temperature difference to Japan's strategic ambition to carry out the pulling together against China, making Japan's foreign measures have a sense of powerlessness to hit the continent. How is this sense of powerlessness verified?
For more information, subscribe and click the bell.